Okay. Um, I just want to say thank you, God. I just want to say thank you, God. Um, because sometimes in life we forget how lucky we are, even in the worst circumstances. You know, it's easy for me to be scared. Well, not scared, but looking at God and ask God, why me? And I know maybe soon there'll be a time where this kind of thoughts will come to me, but now when I can thank God, when I'm able to thank God, I should say that now because I can see things for what they are right now. And before it's a time when I can't see that, I just want to say thank God. I don't want to be super dramatic, but what we go through is dramatic in a sense, but it's just we have to be thankful. If you're a target individual, right now life is tough, it's horrible, maybe. I mean, I'm sure it is, because I know my life is going to be worse, and it's already bad. If I look back at how my life is going right now, it's not doing well. I know I'm doing bad health wise, psychologically wise. I'm being broken down, and it'll get worse. I've understood that. But before you get to the point where to that level, I was able to see so much and put things in perspective. And so for that, I just need to thank God. And target individual, I know that it's hard to see how we're blessed in ways. The dignity we have, I'm telling you, it's something that we should be thankful for, as bad as things are right now. Because we see things that people are capable of doing and the humiliating things they do. If they get to the point where they can do these things, it means that there's possibility that you could have been that. You could be those people. And for me, I hear people saying some of the most embarrassing things that I start laughing. I shouldn't be laughing because bad things are going to happen to me, and what they're saying is foul, but it's laughable. It's surpassing the reality of what they're trying to say because it's so disturbingly, ridiculously disgusting that it's comical. I'm a target individual and I understand what it means. It means I'm a test subject. It means that I'm a human subject that's being used in this program where this Department of Defense technology is utilized onto us. The things they do to us are disgusting. I am a target individual who deal with not only what they do to me, gang stalking wise, which is no longer like a thing to me. It doesn't phase me anymore. It's almost obsolete because the torture I'm experiencing, the most disturbing ones, are the psychological and physical pain. Psychological first of all, and the physical torture are coming from this technology that is remotely implemented to me using defense technology. Let me repeat that. Using defense technology. I know this. There's no doubt about it. And of course, as a target individual, they are trying to do everything possible to make you believe that it's not that. And I hear people interacting with me via V2K voice to call. And the interaction comes from people who are like childlike minded people. Oh my gosh. Magically childlike minded. It's humiliating the things they say. I was like, I just imagine myself saying those things. They are so into like their character that it's just like for me. I laugh sometimes. I laugh about the things that this person just said. It is so humiliating. As I'm saying that they're stimulating me and make this technology has the ability to manipulate us, and we've been validated by that, right? Um, the DoD, the DARPA has been working on electromagnetic since the 60s, looking at how electromagnetic radiation waves can impact the brain since the 60s. It's clear proof of that to see how they can alter the mind. So today, you can only imagine what they can be capable of doing. It's obvious where it's coming from. So they can alter our reaction, and it's been proven that's what they do. But I have some retards. Sorry, let me repeat that in a better way. I don't want to call them that. we have perps who are so compromised in ways that are so magical. At this point, they can't even be seen by me. I would either lose, I'll be like very vocal, or start laughing at them in their face. I know that it could go either way. I don't know which way it's gonna go. I'm like, you were the one. You are a one dumb Eddie. You are a fuck. Like I know something bad will come out, or I'll start like acting away. It's so sad. And when you hear them talking, you're like, I can only imagine what you look like. It's like, I would love to see this person talking to me. Like, what the type of shamelessness you have. Like, in my mind, I already know what they kind of look like. Some weakling, and I mean not weak in a physical way, but just like some like weak loser that is just feeling empowered. And when not being seen, she can be super fierce, but in a weak way too, in an embarrassing way. But you see her, you know she will look away like embarrassment. Because the humiliation. The interactions are so comical. I know what's going to happen to Miss Terrible because she said this person, this perp, this is one of those many. It's the one of this childlike individual. I'm talking about. This person interacting with me is not this specific people, but I just want to give you an idea of how they look like. To just give you a glimpse of what kind of people we're talking about here. We have people like this. That should give you an idea of what kind of individual are interacting with you. We talk about somebody like that. It's not them specifically, but just imagine somebody like that. I'm talking to you via V2K. These people are saying things like that. And they're saying that in a different language, right? In the language that I can understand. I'm not going to say which language. And they say that, and they're like, I do this with proud. We hid something. They talk about child porn. Right? And we dared. And we do that with proud. With pride. I'm prideful to say that I implanted child porn. And she goes on, it's like, because we have strong hands. You deserve that. You pay for what you did. Now, she's saying she's prideful, that she has implanted child porn on some of my devices. Now, she is employed and contracted but by these entities. These are the entities she works for. This
has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flicker, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security suites. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on...
Please brace yourself for what he's going to say here.
This issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look,
if you miss what you just heard, listen to this again.
Done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look,
you heard this. The entities that are running this program, which utilize this technology onto us, are ranked 19th out of 3,000. Well, the real number is 2,891. So let's round it to 2,900. Let's give them a little bit, 19th out of 2,900 in regard of trafficking child porn within the network. This embarrassment of a life that these people have to live, to say that now we're proud and to try to be fearful. They work for these entities where there's so much child porn that they're trying to find bills or create bills to find ways to limit this, because they are being ranked top tier in regard to sharing child pornography. They share so much child porn that entities in regard to child protective services are saying that the DoD network is ranked 19th out of 2,900, making them top tier in regard to trafficking child porn. And this bottom feeders, you know what she said? Oh, we're so proud. We're going to plant child porn. She worked for those entities where child porn is such an issue that these child protective services are ranking them this high. Now, this is why I'm so thankful to God. This is why I'm thankful to God. There is nothing in life that can change this reality. It is the most pathetic way of living. It shows what these people are truly about. What they're truly about. Not only they do horrible things to children, but the entities contracting them are such a threat to children that the network that they work on, which is the Department of Defense network, is trafficking some of the highest volume of child porn, top tier volume, meaning this one of the highest volume of child porn is moving around that Department of Defense network. No, listen to how disgusting it is. Just to add to it, listen to this.
That what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step into an office, whether it's...
They're saying this is happening utilizing the devices of the DoD or Pentagon provided devices, using the network of the DoD, the internet network. And that is what is ranked so high. So these entities are so pedophilia-centric that utilizing your work computer with your work network, that is what is ranked so high. This trash is here saying these things to me with all these things that just validates me in advance to let you know that these people are just low-life bottom feeders that are a threat to children. There's such a threat to children that the entities running this program with the devices provided to them by the government, using the network and DoD network, they are downloading so much child porn that Child Protective Services is consistently ranking them as top tier circulator of child pornography, trafficking the most child pornography in the top tier level. 19th out of 2,900. Let me kind of just break it down a little bit better to just how disgusting this is, and then we can go into why I'm so thankful to God.
Bipartisan bill aims to stop child pornography.
ranks in the top tier and one we must fight head on, Spanberger said in a statement, according to child pornography watchdog.
So, according to Child Pornography Watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services.
Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services. The Defense
Department
network consistently
ranks. Let me say consistently, meaning multiple times, meaning a lot of times, in a consistent way. Let me do that backward.
And one we must fight head on, Spanberger said in a statement, according to Child Pornography Watchdog Internet.
According to Child Pornographic Watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services.
Against Children Child Online Protective Services. The Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top.
The Defense Department network consistently ranks
of Internet service providers for trafficking
in the top tier of Internet service providers for
pornography. It ranked 19
for trafficking child pornography. Let's maybe as it was too fast. Let's go again.
Pornography Watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services. The Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of Internet service providers for trafficking child pornography.
They are consistently being ranked as in the top tier of Internet services or Internet service providers for trafficking child pornography. Consistently ranks in the top tier of Internet service providers for trafficking child pornography. And then they give the ranking here, which was in 2018.
Ranked 19th of nearly 3,000 networks surveyed in 2018.
It's ranked 19th of nearly 3,000, let's just say 19 out of 2,900, just to be fair, surveyed in 2018. Can you imagine? This is how pedophilia centric these people are. And you have this trash who want to sound fierce, saying, I'll do this with pride. I proudly implant child porn onto your computer, coming from these governmental entities where we get ranked top tier consistently for trafficking the most child pornography. Now, obviously, it's so pathetic. I'm glad to be the one saying these things. I'm glad to be the one be able to say that. I'm glad I'm not one of these people who try to be okay and try to make this cool. I'm just glad. I feel like this dignity in this. These people are very pedophilia centric, to the point where they are being ranked consistently for trafficking as much child pornography, to be ranked top tier, 19th out of 2,900. Now, obviously, trafficking child pornography is probably not all they do. For them to traffic this amount of child porn, you know that they might have a problem, and these people are probably doing things to children. You know that they're a danger to children. So we have entities where there's a problem with pedophilia, and who knows what's happening to the kids these people are around with. We're talking about top tier. So that means that these people are around children and perhaps doing things to children. They're sharing so much child porn that Child Protective Services is ranking that high of a number. You know these people do things to children. So not only that these people share this nastiness, but you know they truly are doing things to kids. You know that with this amount of child porn circulating, they're doing things to kids for sure. And so imagine being somebody who's contracted to participate in this program that these governmental entities are running to continuously improve this technology that can manipulate your mind. They are manipulating my mind and doing their best to gaslight me into accepting these manipulations. And every time they try to make me accept these manipulations they make me have, they're like, oh, it's going to be their asshole. because they're going to frame me the way I said that they're going to frame me. And apparently, because I'm going to be raped, I should be accepted of this manipulation. Let me say this. I really do not want to get raped. But I do not want to trade places with these people. So if you ask me, getting raped in whatever ways, or participating, involving myself in the things they do, I would rather get raped. I'm not saying that I want to go there and get raped. No. But getting raped doesn't sound as bad as living a life where you're capable of doing everything you want in life, and you choose to work for governmental entities that are so pedophilia centric that Child Protective Services is ranking them as a top tier sharing network, trafficking network of child pornography. You know what they do to children then? That is so fucking nasty. And then they try to be like, no, and they try to sound fierce like femme fatale. like it's already disgusting enough that you know that you're working for entities that are doing things threatening to children. This ranking should say it all. Should like, okay, we're not, we're obviously working for entities that do things to kids, or entities where there's a lot of people doing things to kids or thinking about it. Working in a program where they are forcing people to think the way they can manipulate me to think, the way they manipulate people to think, that's why the way they manipulate me. They've been forcing target individuals to have these disgusting thoughts for the purpose of breaking them down. It's part of these tactics of de-patterning a target individual. They make you think whatever the way they want you. They play with all your, all this manipulation that these entities, filled with pedophiles, has been working on since the 60s. And these losers who now have to live life doing these things, saying the things they need to say. I'm so thankful they do this. You know how dignified it makes me feel? In the background, they say the horrible things they can do with the stick. They're going to say they're going to impale me. It's like, listen, do all the things. I could be living life right now. Talking about implanting child porn and implanting thoughts in people's brain that is pedophilia centric. My life could have been that. No. But in this program, like I said, test subjects comes in all shape and form. Men, women, black, white, whatever race. Every ages, from the babies to the older people, to the elders. I know the torture they've applied onto children. So this person talking to me right now is fully aware that I know that I'm one of many subjects, which sometimes some of these subjects inclusive of children, babies. And guess what they do to babies? Or children, 7-year-old toddlers? They sexually torture them. They hurt these kids sexually. This kind of testimonials coming from target individuals who have described the same thing I go through. Listen, this is the same woman. Listen, this woman said something that I've been going through, and she described it the way I would describe. Matter of fact, I used the same terminology when she said the pedophilia type of torture. This is the word I've been using since then. She told me this word in a sense that she said that word. It's like, oh, this is the word I'm experiencing. I'm being tormented, and they do the pedophilia type of torture. This is what she says.
What is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my...
The pedophilia type of torture. You heard that. Oh, you know how I talk about the brain is being manipulated? Oh, this is what she says. It's called
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual as well as
So I was describing what this person was interacting and saying and projecting into my mind by what she was saying. And I was describing V2K, just like her. And she mentioned how they can manipulate thoughts and perceptions. The same woman who's talking about the pedophilia type of torture. You see how things are just super correlatable? Exact same testimonies that I'm saying today. Now you can understand that this person is going through what I'm going through, and I identify the same way she identified because she's describing what I'm going through. I've never met this woman, but she's saying exactly what I'm going through. And voices call is when you hear these bottom feeders talking to you, tell me how they're proud to be implanting child porn to frame me, knowing that these people framing me are doing things to women and children. And by the way, the entities that are obviously running this program, because this is not done to us just because of that, like the storylines that come up is just the bullshit. It's the BS. The reason why this is happening to us is because we are test subjects. We are test subjects in a program where they are developing technology that you heard. That's V2K, that's synthetic telepathy, and that's the direct energy weaponry that can do horrible things to us. They continuously need to improve on this technology, and this is why you hear women, men, and even children being tortured. Because it is torture, but torture for the purpose of developing a technology. The rest is the nastiness. It's not even it's the things they try to create, the BS, the storylines, the facade to make you believe that it's something else. That unless everything else but what it truly is, that we are test subjects. That the government is using us as test subjects as they continuously develop this very sophisticated technology. It is just a facade, a psyop. So this trash talking to me is just like a childlike retard. They don't need the people the government contract to implement these things. They're not the geniuses. Matter of fact, I think they prefer utilizing people who have a little bit of a child-minded. It makes it easier for them to stoop to a level. Now, listen, there's very, very much established adults involved in it, but it sounds even kind of more childlike when they talk. Like, it's sad to hear them. But these people are truly, you can see, like, I can imagine you really thinking this way. Due to your childlike ways. You sound almost like a nothing. Like you haven't accomplished anything in your life. That this is something that empowers you. That you feel special. But with me, what they're trying to do is like you pay for what you did as a kid. When I was in middle school, I keep bringing that up. When I was in middle school, 14 years old, I did some dumb thing to myself, which they try to exaggerate. Oh, now you pay. Matter of fact, it's so funny. I was listening to something, and somebody said something about trauma. And I heard this low life, which is so disturbing. She's screaming. She acts this way. The way they gaslight you, the way they want you to block our reality, they have these acting methods, which I'm like, please do that in front of me. Please act this way in front of me. You'll see how reality will be snapped back into you. And I'm not saying in an aggressive way, but I think there's a few things I can bring up that can just snap reality. It's gaslighting on steroids. She asks, "Oh, this is our frame." She start yelling that. She's like, "Yeah, it's our frame." Like with this fake acting way. I can from here I could hear how she was acting. She was trying to box this fantasy because they were trying to make me think that what I did when I was a kid was traumatizing to this person. I was in the middle school and I did something to myself, and then something that I did once never happened again. But they were trying to make me believe that what I did to myself, which they have to exaggerate. I don't want to go into details, but I just want to make sure that this is specifically said. That me in middle school traumatized this kid. That I did some No. Matter of fact, I ended up even sending a message to this person. She doesn't have no freaking idea who I am. Which I understand. Me, who was the older kid there, didn't even remember this thing. Because I did what I did as a child. It's something that I never did again. It was something that happened once, never even thought about it ever again. Knowing just that shows how impulsive a child is capable of being. That they can do things and just never think about it ever again. No, it's not something like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm thinking about that moment again. Oh, that moment. No, done. Never even completely got away. Like I just never thought about it ever again. Never. There's a lot of things during that time that this is my mind. I always go back and think about. Some sad things, but that moment, it was such a nothing moment to me. Meaning the significance to me was such a nothing moment, an insignificant moment to me, in the sense that it just did not something that was memorable to me. To just show how impulsive it was. Never happened again. And of course, growing up, I completely forgot about it, because immediately when it's done, it just never was ever thought of. I'm saying that specifically just to show that that's how insignificant it was. But if it was something that was significant to me, it would have been thought of. It would be, And so, me, don't even remember that thing that I did when I was in middle school. So this person completely doesn't even know me. She doesn't even know me at all. But because they wanted to create this fantasy, you traumatize her, you did this and that. So I'm like, what? I made my points clear. You guys are a bunch of fraudulent trash. They try to do these nasty things and try to turn into sexual, because I'm rubbing my leg because I'm about to talk and make sure I speak in a very articulate way. It's like, you are so fraudulent. You are trying to use these moments to make yourself delude into this fantasy. So I say, hey, I just send a message. She doesn't remember me. She doesn't even talk to me. Like, she's probably like, who is this guy talking to me? Because they were trying to think, no, you traumatized her. He's like, she doesn't know. She has no idea who I am. Sometimes they will make me look at a picture of her. It's like, oh, she's kind of sad there. So maybe she's traumatized. Like, oh my gosh. She has no idea. And then this picture of her smiling, living life. It's like, oh, you see, she's back to normal. It's like, what the hell? It's complete manipulation of the mind. She has no clue who I am. She has no clue of whatever happened when I was a kid. It was not me. I would have not even known memory of it if this was not like what they were trying to use to vilify me. If that was not something they would try to be like, no, we pay for that. No, it's just because a kid do something stupid. Now, do you know who these people are and what they do to children? When this person is like, pay for it's our friend. What they do to children? You already heard that the entities running this program. The issue. Circling so much child porn is crazy. Now imagine what they do in this program where they use children as test subject. Oh, you forget what they do. They know what they do to children. Now, trauma. What is trauma here? Listen to how real trauma is and what they really do to children, how they abuse children and traumatize them. We're not talking about children doing some impulsive thing that never happened again, like a kid. These shits that are acting certain ways. Oh, pay for it. Oh, it's our frame. This trash. I try to counter these horrible things they do to kids.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism.
This is the same woman who's describing what I'm going through, but talking about what's happening to her.
And she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic. And they used her to threaten the most torture in me.
She's talking about a 7-year-old autistic child that she teaches. As I'm listening to this testimony, there's somebody next door. They're trying to stop me and counter this. Their job right now is to counter reality. Because in the program they're working for do these things to children.
Their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school.
This is a 7-year-old autistic child. This trash, who was proud to implant child porn, work for a program that does these things to children. Those trash contracted to do these things, where they are being, we will frame you for that. Talk about me as a middle schooler, try to make me believe that, you traumatized this. They involve in this, where they traumatize and abuse children using Department of Defense technology. Listen to these things.
Highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals.
It's a child, a 7-year-old child in therapy who is autistic. These trash are working in a program that does this. And for me, they have the audacity, and I have to calm down, to try to be like, hey, and they're acting all aggressive, involved in the program that does this to children. I'm not even talking about anybody that's really whatever they as a child. Matter of fact, I talked to the father of this person. He looked at me when I didn't even remember none of it. He's like, she doesn't even remember you. But this shit involved in this program here.
Used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, ow, and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture.
They can hit your body and give you pain points. They did that to a 7-year-old child. This trash, trying to be like, pay for it, and acting this way with the extra passion, is because they're trying to stop the fact that I know they torture children. These shits are involved in a program that does these horrible things to children as young as 7 years old. Why I'm passionate right now is because you understand what they're trying to do. It's gaslighting you to get you to accept this falsified reality, because what they did is they talk about implanting child porn. And they want to delude themselves and trick themselves that they're doing it for an honorable thing. When in reality, they're involving and they're doing it for a disgusting part thing. They're on a disgusting nastiness that includes working for a program that tortures babies, 7-year-olds sexually. They don't want to see me in person, because I know what they do to children. I literally have to calm myself down. Just calm down, my friend, calm down. Because these shits are completely involved in this program that does these horrible things to kids. And do you know what they're trying to do? Not only they talk about implanting child porn, which is already nasty, coming from entities where you heard the issues with child pornography. They are so pedophilia centric that the entities running this program, because these next door neighbors are just fucking nasty. I don't even know if they're next door neighbors. This shit are the nobodies. They're just bottom feeders that they contracted by these governmental entities. And because there's incentives, they found ways to delude themselves that they're doing, we're paying for what you did as a kid. Involved in a program where they're literally sexually torturing children as young as 7-year-old with autism. When we see each other, I have to calmly relax. But the second they try to act this way, and like, pay for it, it's like, I just gotta find a way to calm down. Because what they're gonna try to do is like, pay for what you did as a kid. As I'm listening to a child being sexually tortured by these low lives. And what I mean that this low life are involved in this program. The reason why they're torturing me is because I'm the same program where this woman who's going through what I'm going through also witnessed children as young as 7 years old with autism being sexually tortured. Listen to this.
One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation.
These piece of shits acting these ways, tell me pay for it, are involved in a program where even suffocation, which I've experienced, they can restrict your lungs, make it hard for you to breathe, is applied onto children. This low life cannot be seen. Can you imagine trying to act this way? And this bottom feels like, oh, proud to implant child porn. They're involved in this. Hey. So I'm like, okay. Try to act this way. Try to act this way. And they're like, no, that's abuse what you did. These people involved in this, what you just heard, a child being sexually tortured, sexually abused, while they're harming her in a sexual way, where they are torturing her by suffocating her. I try to talk about me as a middle school kid who is just turning 14 years old, while they're involved in a program where they are literally sexually torturing, suffocating 7-year-old autistic children, but it doesn't end there.
Every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed this at
a 4-year-old, let me repeat that, a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, both of them with mental handicaps, which is Down syndrome, are sexually tortured in this program. They're trying to make me think of me as a middle school, a kid who did this impulsive thing that never happened ever again, which they have to even exaggerate. Something that I did when I was a kid to myself, while literally torturing these kids and aiming their sexual organs to harm them. Aiming their sexual organs to harm them. They're doing things to me when I say that, to counter. That's so nasty. With Down syndrome, they're involved in this. As I'm saying that they're making noise campaign, they try to change subjects. This is what compromise looks like. When they say abuse, now I've got to find a way to calm down. Because this is the things I know. And what they do to children and how they abuse them. These people working for entities where child pornography is so rampant, the Child Protective Services is ranking them 19th out of 2,900 for the amount of child porn that is being trafficked in the network. Knowing them what that means that these people do things to children. Or at least a good percentage of these people that are circulating and trafficking that much child porn would do things to children. While working for programs where they're utilizing this technology for the purpose of developing this technology, which I'm in the same program. That means these people work for the same program where you hear this woman talking about how they manipulate her mind and also how they torture children that she's teaching. And those children are young children with a handicap, mental handicap, and they torture them in sexual way, abusing them in so nasty ways. These trash are involved in this program, and they tell me how they're proud that they're going to plant child porn. And this is payback for what you did as a middle schooler, while involved in a program where they're literally torturing kids with Down syndrome with sexual tormenting, sexual torture. 4 and 5 years old, even 7 years old, but it doesn't end there. It goes younger than that too.
He grabbed his crotch and leaned forward.
It's a 3-year-old grabbing his crotch. I can bring more testimonies. My phone just died. But I think you get the point. Now today, the manipulation, which I made plenty of video about that, shows consistency with other testimony. This woman also says that she's forced to have this pedophilia type of torture, which is a terminology that she comes up with. That ever since she said that, I've been using the same terminology. And you know what they're saying? No, we proved it because remember what you did as a kid. Matter of fact, now they go into my childhood and find things to manipulate. So they say, this pattern. But the way they try to create this false pattern is going backward when I'm even younger of a child. Now, by 12-year-old, remember when you said that 3-year-old, you feel that thing, it's falsified. Changing what I experienced when I was a 12-year-old child. So today, when I'm forced to get stimulations, it's like, no, but when you were a kid, you had that. You felt that. When you have clear patterns that shows this person saying the same thing, this person saying the same, so me, you just make me be a child? Coming from entities where they're so pedophilia centric that you heard that they're coming up with bills to limit the amount of child porn these employees at the DOD are downloading using DOD Pentagon devices to download using network that is the DOD network, being ranked so high that they consistently rank top tier in regard of trafficking child pornography. And you hear this trash, these nasty lowlifes, trying to make me believe that, no, pay now. You know, at some point they were trying to make themselves believe, no, we're the one who ranked them. They have no shame. Saying they're the one who ranked the DOD network as top tier. They have no shame. Those people ranking me, telling me they're going to plant child porn, you're delusional. First of all, they are working for those DOD entities. They're not even DOD. They are like bottom feeders. They're like the contractor of like the buffer. But at the top of this hierarchy is the DOD. They're just the trash that implement this. Working for those DOD entities that are being ranked top tier in regard to child pornography. And now they try to make me believe, nah, we're the one who gave them in 2018, that was our rank. We're the one doing the rank with these big child-like retards. With no zero shame. These people are the one being ranked top tier pedophiles. And now they try to be like, no, we're the child protective watchdog here, who child porn watchdog on the internet. We're the retards. Clowns and lowlifes. Talk about how they're proud to implant child porn. To frame me. To pay for what I did as a kid. When they're involved in a program that you heard what they do to kids. These child protectors. Delusional trash. Matter of fact, these child protective services are calling them top tier child porn traffickers while working for entities where children themselves are being tortured and used as test subjects, test subjects that are sexually tortured. Nasty bottom feeders living this fucking fantasy. I wish they could play this in front of me, this acting game. And you heard the consistency of how they manipulate people, calling it pedophilia type of torture. Pedophilia type of torture. I've been validated that this is a tactic they've been using. And they try to make you believe that it's anything but. This massive government that's been using human subjects as test subjects. I would have brought up the testimony of this woman who says her and her young child have been used as test subjects and been psychologically and physically damaged because of the technology they use on them. To all my target individual, be thankful. Be thankful. You could have lived this life. Now they're going to see me suffering in all different ways, in their comfortable ways, sitting somewhere comfortably. But that doesn't mean that life is going to be sweet for them. Oh no, now they sign up for something. They'll discover when the day comes. But in the meantime, I understand they're going to find empowerment in this nastiness. But listen to how disgusting it is. So when they want to act accordingly, I will make sure, my purpose is to make sure that they get back to reality real quick. Sometimes Unfortunately, what they do is like they use children as shields. And the reason why they do that is because today, the way they can manipulate me to respond is so disgusting. It's so pedophilia-centric. And so then today, if I look at a child, they're going to force me to get stimulation. So I have to look away. Because if I look at this child, they're going to force me to get a nasty reaction. They'll be like, oh, we mapped the COC when you were a kid. Remember them even when you met it. Fucking trash. Nasty low life. And try to find ways to make me subscribe to this. To all my target individual, stay strong.